I'm Emily Abbate. I'm the online editor at Fitbie, and I'm training for the New York City Marathon. Today, I'm going to sit down with Runner's World executive editor Tish to talk to her a little bit about what it takes to train for a full marathon.
So will this be your first marathon?
It's going to be my second marathon. I've been running for about 6 years now or so. I developed a love for running when I weighed a lot more. I lost about 70 pounds in 3 or 4
That's
years.
Really awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to hear you say that you have been running for 6 years before you did your first marathon, because I think some people jump into the marathon too soon. We recommend that somebody has been running consistently for at least a year before they take on a challenge of training for something as long as a half marathon or a full marathon especially.
I would love it if maybe we can go outside and run and talk a little bit more about training and, you know, just get out there.
That sounds great. I've never turned down a run. Let's do it.
There are different running shoes for every type of runner. I'm super interested to see what Tish has to say about the kind of shoes that beginners should really look for when they're looking to run a race. Okay, so I'd love it if we could talk a little bit more about the sneakers that people choose when they're running longer distances.
Okay, so when you first put it on, it should feel comfortable, right? It needs to be comfortable right out of the box. You want to make sure it's fitting you around the heel and it's not slipping when you do a little bit of a jog. You also want to make sure you have enough room in the toe box. You don't want your toes all crunched up, and you want a thumbnail of space between the end of your toe and the end of your shoe, because your feet, as you run, they will swell a little bit, so you want that room. Oftentimes, you will end up buying a running shoe that's a half size larger than your street shoes.
What's your sock advice?
You've got to have a pair of socks that are going to wick the sweat away. So no cotton socks, even if they look like they're athletic, no cotton at all. You want it to fit your foot, be close, no like bunching and gapping, because that could cause you blisters over time.
Okay. In an earlier video about the marathon training, someone commented that they were a little unsure about my running form and that I might run with my elbows up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. When I saw your video, I did notice your elbows were out a little bit. But here's the thing, you know, if it works for you, I'm not going to tell you to change that, because people have crazy running forms. Paula Radcliffe, who's got the world record for women in the marathon, she runs a 2:15. If you saw her running form, you would not believe she could run a marathon that fast, because her shoulders are up and her head bobs around.
Right.
But she's running a 2:15 marathon, so it's working for her. We might say to you, like, okay, the elbow's out, you might be wasting some energy, so maybe you want to bring it in and try to keep it a little tighter. But on the other hand, if that makes you more fatigued, I don't want you to change that for the marathon. I want you to keep running how you feel comfortable. Okay. And then maybe afterwards, then you can start thinking about working on your form.
So thank you so much for coming out and running with me today. I learned a lot, and hopefully our readers learned a lot too.
It's a real pleasure. I always like to talk about running, and I always like to go for a run.
Keep following along with my journey to the New York City Marathon. I'll see you next time.